Hey up, Sofa Squad, and we're back with another edition of On the Sofa with my co-host Sci Niece.
Welcome to On the Sofa, better known as On Boris Johnson's Dick for an hour plus at a time.
Thank you for that mental image. And,
Don't worry, it's probably not a big one.
and Stall is with us as well. So, how's it
I'm
going?
not. Prove it.
Oh.
I'm not here. Prove it.
Well, what are you talking about, Stool? My laptop screen just broke from seeing you.
And we've got the lavender lady.
Hi,
Yay! Diana's here.
There goes the neighborhood. Stall's here. And we've got Greg in the chat as well.
Well, Greg is always here, and it's always a pleasure to have him.
This is your first sign of being popular, Mike.
Yeah, you know you're going up in the world when the lavender lady is in the side chat.
That is totally something.
I keep getting the words the wrong way around. I keep wanting to say the Lady Lavender for some reason, but anyway.
You've made it now.
Yeah.
You're literally the most famous person in the world. It's that book. It's that damn book you wrote.
Yeah. I love that for you, Mike. Congratulations. You're achieving big things now.
Now that you're a famous author, the people are gonna come. The people are gonna come flocking. I said flocking.
We can but dream.
To be fair,
you're gonna come flogging with G's.
To be fair, Mike knows how my brain works, so I'm only here for one reason.
What brain?
Yeah. Can you not see it?
No, I can't. My vision.
I shaved my hair off so you could see it.
Well, my vision is very bad, and I've always had trouble seeing tiny things.
Yeah. Speaking of tiny things, what's your boyfriend doing?
I don't know. He'll be home later. He's actually not home for once. I have the house to myself. It's very nice and peaceful.
Until he brings a stray duck home.
No, he's not going to bring a duck home.
Yay, Godless is here.
Well, yeah.
Jesus. Mike, is everybody else bored tonight on the YouTubes? Because you're getting some good viewers tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, you are getting quite the prominent audience.
Yes. Well, quality, not quantity.
Yeah, but that went downhill as soon as Stool joined in.
Yeah, I was kind of doing that's what she said, but no, I'm going to retract that thought. Not too sure now.
So we're going to start off with the Queen's speech.
Oh, before you do that, Mike, I've been practicing something for you.
Okay.
If you don't mind, could you indulge me?
Is it shutting the fuck up?
Because I honestly don't know why people keep calling me French. I don't get the joke. Is it funny? I've no idea. So I've written you a new intro.
Okay.
Which I'm now going to read to you. Okay. Would you mind if I do that?
Yeah. Go on.
Bonsoir et bienvenue chez Mike sur le canapé.
Am I in Paris?
That was me introducing your show to all my French people, because apparently I'm French, but whatever. I actually practiced that.
Because I called you a Frenchman in one tweet earlier, and now you're back to the butthurt.
I don't understand why I'm French, but here's the sad thing: I actually practiced that. That's how much I appreciate Mike's fucking show.
Oh, très bien. Greg,
you better be careful speaking too much French. My ex-husband might find his way here.
Oh dear.
Fuck my ex-husband. Okay, we got that out of the way.
I need to hear Godless Soin speak French.
And we need to hear you speak proper English, motherfucker.
Hang on. I'm waiting for the interpretation. What did she say?
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Okay, I'll be quiet now, Mark. I apologise.
So are we
Continue.
doing a show here, or am I supposed to go too?
So the other day we had the Queen's speech,
Oh boy, did we?
and there she is.
Oh, which one is it, Mike? Thanks
Which
for pointing it out.
and
I do enjoy her taste in hats and overcoats. I will give her that.
so we're just going to go through this BBC News article, the Queen's speech at a glance, and we're just going to chat about a few things. So the first thing the Queen spoke about was infrastructure and leveling up. Have you heard this term, leveling up?
Only in a video game concept.
It's not a real thing. Oh, sorry. I'll let you carry on. Sorry. My bad.
The only time I hear of leveling up is in the context of video games, so I'm a little behind on this one. Enlighten the poor, uneducated American. There you go. I deprecated myself. School doesn't have to.
Oh, so
Can I just reply to Godless inside chat? Because he's trying his best to do the French. And I think the correct French phrase is voulez-vous fucking moi?
Okay.
He's a werewolf. Oh, you're awful.
And there's a song about that, but I'm not allowed to sing it because Mike will get baninated. But
And we don't like to be banhammered.
Nerdy Rodent is saying, "Hey up."
Nerdy speaks the proper English.
Yes. So, but the bullet points say this: a product security and telecommunications infrastructure bill will extend 5G mobile coverage and introduce a new safety standards for digital devices.
Bullshit. Move on.
A subsidy control bill will set out post-Brexit regulations on how the government can support private companies now the UK has left the EU's state aid regime.
Bullshit. Move on.
Well,
I'm just waiting for the good bits.
we'll see if there's massive amounts of corporate welfare in your neck of the woods now, like there is in mine.
Another post-Brexit piece of legislation is the procurement bill. Will replace the EU rules on how the government buys services from the private sector.
Absolute bullshit. Move on.
Is that just what you're going to say to everything?
Yes, indeed, because it's complete bullshit. I think what our American friends, Mike, don't realise is that the Queen doesn't actually write these words.
No,
Johnson wrote these words. So
Most
it's
people
just
have speechwriters. So what?
it's utter propaganda bullshit, and I find it quite annoying. But I'm waiting for the sexy part. I know Mike is going to eventually get to the sexy part where I can go totally.
But basically, leveling up is all about make England great again.
Mega! Mega!
I tell you, what you should have done, Mike, when you're talking about leveling up, quote, it's a fucking slogan. It means absolutely nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
It means absolutely jack shit. And if you've been doing your research, which I know you do because you're a good boy, if you've been doing your research, you'll have been paying attention to Liz Truss, who's made another one of her monumental fuck ups. And I'm not going to talk about Freeport. Write this one down, Mike. Write it down on your paper. Freeport.
Oh,
you can do this one next week.
This is the next bullet point: tax breaks for employers based in 8 free ports.
Oh, you did it! I couldn't see the text.
To be set up in England later this year and will be included in a national insurance contributions bill.
Oh my fuck! I'm going to keep. I've spent 2 weeks keeping
Well,
my
are you
mouth shut
wearing a
about
Christmas
cod.
sweater? Are you wearing a Christmas sweater in May?
No, I've dressed up for Mike. I thought I'd wear something more jaunty.
So you chose a Christmas sweater, an ugly Christmas sweater, in the middle of May.
Godless sewing is saying, "Oh, mega sounds awful and scary."
Well, so does MAGA. So
And Nerdy Rodent is saying, "Leveling up is about giving public money to your friends and private businesses."
sounds like someone we talk shit about every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is what the show is all about. So
Yes.
whatever. It's
The
the
entire
bit.
point of the entire point of this show is to
It's-
verbally castrate Boris Johnson for anywhere between 60 and 120 minutes at a time.
It's Mike's bitching hour, and this is why I always try to tune into it. And admittedly, I missed a few, but I do enjoy it because Mike knows what's happening.
And so does Sci Niece on as well. She adds a lot, a lot of stories on her, on her side of the Atlantic too.
Yeah, but to be fair, she spent like half of one of your streams talking about ice cream buns. So yeah, whatever.
Listen, I was doped up on morphine in a hospital bed that day. You fuck off with that, you French shit.
I'm not fucking French. Why do you keep doing this to me?
Because he bites.
I don't get the joke. I don't get it.
That's what makes it funny. The fact that you have absolutely no idea what's going on and get increasingly angry every time someone calls you French. That's the whole point.
I'm not French.
You don't know why.
I'm going to do one of those things where you do a swab.
There's Will in the chat. Stool is definitely French.
Oh, I hate him. He's such a racist. You know, Will, you're such a racist, and you clearly want to go.
I think Will should go get him a StreamYard link and join us one of these days. One of these Thursdays. I think that would be hilarious. Just me and Mike just shut up and let Stool and Will go at it. What do you think?
I would absolutely not recommend that whatsoever. I would not do that. The thing is, sorry, Mike, sorry.
If the Lavender Lady is still with us, and I would love it if she joined us. But
I would love to have her. I'm always
see.
happy to have her.
But
anyway, the level of Will's racism, I'm shocked every day because I know he hates me because I'm white, because he's a racist, but I didn't know he also hated the French. I mean, what is wrong with you, Will? Dude, come on. Turn the racism dial down.
A lot of us Americans are still mad at the French. Listen, I actually have a valid reason for hating the French. I divorced a French.
A French.
Anyway.
My ex-husband was a French, and he was a French. He wasn't even a man. He was a French.
Listen, I'm trying my best.
To buy something for a library card.
I'm trying my best to behave, so let Mike do his thing. I'm trying my best to be a good boy.
Okay, cool.
Moving on to borders and security.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The speech referenced new legislation to overhaul the UK's post-Brexit asylum system and discourage migrants from crossing the English Channel.
Mm-hmm.
New powers for the police over protests and new sentences for serious crimes are in the controversial Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Bill.
Yeah, fuck that fucker.
Yeah. But basically, the government want to give police the power to stop protests if they get too loud.
Even if the even if the protest only involves one person.
Yes.
And we know what that
Especially if
means,
that
don't we, Mike?
protest involves
Yes.
you.
But the whole point of protesting is to be loud, to make your voice heard, so that the politicians will take notice.
Well,
And,
Exactly. One of my fondest pre-motherhood memories. I was about maybe 2.5, 3 months pregnant, and my aunt and I went to a protest for a town hall that the idiot who really did a lot of the legwork on the first Trump care bill was hosting for his constituents. I'm happy to say he was voted out of office either later that year or the year after. It's really a civic duty to make your voice heard.
That particular bill that the evil person, I will not name her, she's the Home Secretary, but that particular bill that was introduced has a specific clause in it that gives her, ultimately, that's a scary thing, her ultimately the power to decide what is a good or a bad protest, and then thereby direct the police to arrest people. And there is a clause in there which says that one person can be a protest. Yes. And Mike knows what I'm talking about here, because you remember who Steve Bray is, don't you?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what that clause is.
He for those, for all 5 of our viewers, who some of whom may not know who Steve Bray is, he was a one-man protest who every day stood outside Parliament urging them to stop Brexit.
He's an absolute hero, and he's still doing it now, because what he used to do, he still does it, because the TV news people do their interviews outside the Houses of Parliament, and he would always be in the background. Yeah. And he learned how to always be in shot, which was really cool. And so the TV news people eventually, because it was kind of annoying for them, they had to build scaffolding towers very high up to sit on to try and block him out. Yeah. And he was and he's still doing it. He did one the other day, which was absolutely brilliant. It was on BBC News, and he knows how to work this so well. He knows how camera angles work, and he gets his banners in, and the camera operator cannot avoid his banner being shown. It's wonderful. It really is. Sorry, I digress. I've been a good boy.
As opposed to yourself.
But basically, they're targeting they're targeting him basically because they don't like it. They don't like it up him.
They don't like it up him.
No. Imagine being such a pain in the government's ass that they write a whole ass bill targeting you specifically. That's going places in life.
Yeah.
Just don't give him the name. Well, fuck that one up. Never mind. Move on.
Constitutional reform. A dissolution and calling of Parliament bill will get rid of the fixed 5-year period between general elections and return the power to call early elections to the Prime Minister.
Oh, I can see that ending beautifully.
This is a very serious. This is a really seriously bad one.
Oh,
Greg said, I have trouble understanding Stool's thick French accent. Who is he talking about? Oh my God, Will is here.
We got Will. We got God.
Yay!
Hello.
Can we just be clear about this? I love Will so much. Will knows more about British politics than most British people do, and I adore this guy so much. I really do. He's awesome.
It's 'cause my
Except,
country, I like
but-
watching your country go down in flames with mine as well.
but here's the thing. Will. I hate your stupid mic. Make it go away.
You know
It
what's
looks ridiculous.
You know why? It's because I can't get any of the fancy stuff to work because I'm an American and I skipped that day of school. So I have the clutch Yeti microphone. I should do a commercial for these guys.
Yeah, you should.
They were so clutch.
But this is significant. This ending to the fixed 5-year period, in between general elections. I tell you why I think this is happening. Why Boris Johnson wants to call this in, because of how he got deadlocked. When he was trying to push his withdrawal agreement through, and he had problems.
It's basically about popularity, and again for the benefit of our lovely people inside chat. In the old days, the prime minister could just say, "Hey, let's have an election," when he was popular.
Yeah.
So they changed the rules. You've now got a fixed thing. You're not allowed to just say, "I'm prime minister, I'm popular, I can call an election." Well, guess what? Johnson, the thing, whatever he's called, wants to remove that fucking law for obvious reasons. I know why it is. He wants to call an election before 2023, but I won't bore you with the details because I can tell that Will is getting bored. I can see his hair is falling out with the boredom.
Thank you, because you and I are twins with a haircut. I love your hair, by the way. I love your hair, by the way. So
we are so sexy, Will.
In the UK, is this does this have anything to do with keeping poor people and immigrants from not voting?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so it's just business as usual because, as we all know, this is like par for course in America.
But before you go on to that, Will, I sense that Mike is going to move on to a topic that will be relevant to what you just said.
Oh, please do.
We're going to skip a few things. She talked about housing. She talked about education.
Oh my gosh. Okay, continue. I'm so fucking livid, but I'm being a good boy. I really am.
So we're going to move on to what else was referenced in the speech. The speech set out plans for a consultation on introducing a legal ban on so-called gay conversion therapy in England and Wales.
You hear that, Stool? You could be yourself without shame.
I heard about that. So I always ask the question, what is gay conversion therapy besides locking someone in a room and beating them up for a couple days?
It's basically...
them up. I mean, I've heard electric shocks can be involved. There's a lot of screaming passages. There's a lot of different torture methods involved. It's basically like Guantanamo Bay.
In America land, I'm not an expert on this, but in America land it can be quite brutal.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of illegal here anyway, as far as I understand. So I've no idea why this government. Well, no, that's not true. I know damn well why they're doing it, because this government is appealing to their racist, homophobic, xenophobic base.
Yeah.
It's just words to get their base on their side, like the orange one did. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
And what else was in? What else is in the speech? Let's have a look. A document accompanying the speech says this will ensure action taken to stamp out the practice does not have unintended consequences. Whatever that means.
Like what? That's what I want to know.
Ministers have pledged to ensure medical professionals and religious leaders can continue having open and honest conversations with people.
That just means that your cleric can't
Yeah, but
beat you
what
up.
do those people consider an open and honest conversation?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
but they
scared
can
for all
still
the
do the
people.
fire and brimstone speeches, I'm sure.
I'm just scared for all the people who are gonna be affected by this, you know, and who have already been affected by this.
Here's the thing, Will, don't be scared about any of this because it's all total bullshit.
Oh, they make fluffy
Yeah.
bills and pointless statements all the time in America. They say it just to rile us up, so we pick a side, get on each side, and start yelling at each other.
That's exactly what it is, and you know,
Well,
you're
here in
used to
America,
that.
we all hate each other because
You're
right.
you're very used to this in your country.
Yes.
But
Sadly.
over here, it's a relatively new thing. We've only had this nonsense for about 5 years, where you have to pick a side, pick a team, and then just fight against each other. This is new to us.
You guys are turning into a mini America. It's very scary.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Pretty soon, you're gonna have privatized healthcare, and you're gonna be paying for your own medicines like Americans do. And I laugh because it's awful.
Yeah.
Let's not even get into the whole medicine thing. Thank God that I'm a broke bitch who qualifies for Medicaid because I wouldn't be alive today if I wasn't. You heard what happened to me, Will.
I did.
So, doing a lot better now.
Can I just point one thing out?
No.
Yep, I will do this. The NHS is brilliant, Mike. Rule Britannia, but you know it's got its faults, and I can't get my jobs, so you know it's not all sex and jizz.
I like to say it's not all rainbows and blowjobs. It's one of my favorite sayings, actually.
You're such a racist.
It begins.
Are you hating the rainbows now, Will?
What was significant about this Queen's speech was what wasn't in the Queen's speech, and that was the measures to reform the operation of the social care system in England.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Because Boris Johnson, when he became Prime Minister, he stood on the steps of Downing Street, and he promised that he was going to put care. He promised that there was a plan to put care, social care reforms in place.
Mm-hmm. And it was complete bullshit.
I remember that when he said that.
But
I'm working on a little. Sorry,
it wasn't in the Queen's speech.
No.
And
I'm working on a little thingy at the moment, and I'm not talking about masturbation. I'm working on a little thingy now because these people are so winding me up with the blatant bullshit that we've never seen in this country before. And I remember that speech when he stood outside Number 10 and he lied his fucking ass off.
Yeah.
With not just little lies, but fucking huge lies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
To be fair, in America, it's not that we're used to it. It's just that we see through the BS because they say something and then nothing happens. No policy or
I think there's a difference though, Will, because you guys are used to it. You've had several decades of bullshit.
Yeah, and liars, yeah.
But to us, I mean, we've got liars, but usually when they're caught out lying, they have to resign or they get sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the British way.
Ours get promoted.
Yeah, that's what's happening here now. It ain't good, Will. It ain't good.
It's sad. It's actually sad because you guys are returning to what your country was before you joined the EU.
Oh no, that's not true.
All those years ago.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I get you.
back, you know,
All
the
those
whole-
years ago.
all those years
All
ago.
Years
you know.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you.
I'm not trying to go back to my favorite person, Enoch Powell. Judas was paid. Judas was paid. If you don't know the speech, you should go watch it. It's when he literally sold out an entire country and took a hit.
I think what I'm really am trying my best to be a really good boy here, because I'll get in trouble, because I do tend to go off on topics on Mike's shows because I enjoy them so fucking much. And no, I'm being serious. It promotes conversation, but I know damn well his brain can't necessarily cope with it, because Mike wants to move on to the next thing.
Oh, let's please. It's Mike's show, please.
So I'm truly trying to be a good boy. I really am.
I'm just people in here. I can scream to the show just as much as he does. I'm jealous. I'm going to be smoking.
Oh dear.
I got softball in my lungs, so thank you very much.
You're breaking up, Sci Niece.
Yeah, it sounded a bit Dalek.
I want to be smoking hot. It's so hot, dude.
So Dalek is a bit touchy right now because they're starting to show the new series and people are freaking out. But we don't need to talk about Doctor Who. We don't want to talk about Doctor Who. I'm not here to digress.
As an aside, I love your shades, Will. They're really cool.
It's summer now. So I'll be wearing these a lot more.
Anyway, okay. And relax. You actually did that properly. Oh man, I love it when you get something right, Mike. I really do.
You just got.
And
fuck you.
Our first Tory twat is Boris Johnson.
Is he ever not our first Tory twat?
I kind of want to say something, Mike. I kind of need to say something.
Go on.
I think you missed something from your list.
What's that? Oh, I've got 6 comments here. Oh.
You missed the biggie.
Go on. What have I missed?
Well, what do you think the biggie is from the Queen's speech? Which, incidentally, was in the Tory manifesto. I'm not going to give you any clues. What's the big thing that we're...
I'm just going to give
What's the big thing that all the people are annoyed about?
Go and tell us, because otherwise we're going to be here all night.
Yeah. I like to pad it out. Our American friends will like this, but I'm just going to say photo ID.
Yes, exactly. Photo ID. But I think we're going to get to that. Hang on.
I'm just going to say really quick that whole play is it's a scary play from the American playbook. So this is quite literally reading a script I've seen before, because they try this in every state that they can in America. It's to keep the disenfranchised out and not voting, because they're going to not vote for the people in power.
But here's the thing, because you live in a weird third world country, you do things by state. This is now going to be a country that has to do this, and I'm terrified about this, but I'll save it for next week, Mike, when you've got your script ready.
You're bad. You're being bad, Stool. You're being a bad Stool.
Yeah.
No,
everybody hear me better. I jumped off from my laptop and rejoined on my phone, because apparently that's the only way my connection is stable.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound great.
Thank you. Don't I always?
This is you're absolutely right to bring this up, Stool, because it's not actually on my list. I thought it was, but it isn't for some reason. But no, you're right. The government are bringing in ID. The need to have a photo ID, like a driving license or a British passport, in order to in order to vote.
What you need, Mike, you need one of those things like they do on Question Time. So when the main show finishes, we all move to BBC Radio 4 to continue the discussion.
Yeah. But,
Josh wanted me to tell you that you're a bitch, Stool.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Oh, that's nice.
Great to see you too.
No, Will, you don't understand. Like,
No,
Josh has this.
But
I actually watch. I'm the lurker. If you don't know who the lurker is, I'm the lurker. I watch every week because it's always when I'm cleaning the house. But I already cleaned, so here I am.
Call it a love-hate feud.
Josh said he called it a love-hate feud between himself and Stool.
Oh, Duck Boy's back. Here we go.
But
My love.
Ox is saying all you got to do is get the USA to think you've got WMDs and we invade, get rid of your government, wait a couple of years, then pull out and leave you to fend for yourselves.
Oh,
That is
Afghani farmers.
fully accurate. I feel personally attacked by how accurate that is.
No, yesterday I watched quite a few interviews with Afghani farmers who were like, "Please don't leave." Please don't leave, green uniform people. Do not leave, please.
I've got questions.
Go on.
Are you sure you want the answers?
I do. Will, I know you have weird watching habits. But why were you watching documentaries about Afghani farmers?
Because it's more interesting than what's going on around here.
That's a bit of
Because
a
our
niche
country-
thing.
Because the Taliban is openly taking the country back, and quite literally every inch that the Americans step back, the Taliban walks in and they're like, "We're back. Hope you enjoyed living like people in the West." And it's like it's happening right now.
Speaking of things going on around here, it's a shame this happened before I could throw it into the Google Doc. Breaking news. The CDC has now announced that fully vaccinated people no longer have to wear masks indoors.
Oh, good for them. I'll be wearing a mask until they're going to bury me with the mask.
Honestly, I'll probably, because of the fact that everyone around us is just stupid, I'm probably going to continue to wear mine simply because, contrary to Stool's belief and the belief of most people around me IRL, I actually am a very nice person with a heart of gold. And I don't want to risk that I'm carrying COVID, have no symptoms, and give it to somebody and they die.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor who bragged that she thought she had it at least 3 or 4 times. We'll be wearing masks.
That's
I'll be wearing
something
them.
to be proud of.
Oh, I know. I'll be wearing a mask for a long
Stool's wearing
time.
his mask. What a good boy.
I would never wear a mask. Oh, can you hear me? Because
Yes.
apparently, when you wear a mask, nobody can hear you.
Oh, I know. Oh, I can't stand that. I can't stand that shit. Because what they do is they wear the mask and then they purposely mumble real low and muffled. And I'm like, you know what? This is just an excuse for you to try to take your mask off. Speak the fuck up.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
lady.
Diane is absolutely right. Everybody will be fully vaccinated, especially those who refuse the vaccine. I am now fully vaccinated as of this past Monday. And you know what? I do not trust most people to get the shot because anti-vax bullshit runs rampant.
Oh, absolutely.
But I just want to say that going back to the ID thing, it's going to disenfranchise, the poorer people in society, because many people. Do you know how expensive it is to get a passport in this country?
Ooh, how expensive!
It's something like it's a lot of money. Something like £400, I think, if I remember
Actually,
rightly.
that's even more expensive than getting a passport here. I think it's $110 for the passport book, isn't it, Will?
Yeah, because my mom recently got her passport and it was way cheaper than I thought. I've had one for a while, so I paid more back in, but yeah, it's under 200, I think. And even with
last
exchange,
I checked, it was $110 for the little book. And you're better off getting the book if you're going to travel abroad a lot, because I think the card is only good if you're going to Mexico. I don't know if it's good in Canada anymore.
It depends on. That's a really, really good point. I don't know because I've always had the book, so I don't know.
The book
With
is such a
regard-
cool little thing to have anyway. It's a nice little novelty.
I think there's some
No.
confusion about this because a lot of people in the UK are thinking that this new voter ID thing means show your passport or show your driving license, but it's not that. It's
You can have an
literally a
actual
new.
voter. Yeah.
It's a new form of.
Now that I didn't
thing.
know.
Yeah, and
So I sorry, Stu, I was wrong. It's not £400. It's only these are the prices for passports.
Oh, okay, we're still overpriced here in America.
Yeah, I was wondering when the UK got so greedy and out of control that they were overpricing worse than we do.
but that's not necessarily the point, because if you put an extra hurdle in front of somebody to go and vote, even if it's only £5, it's an extra hurdle.
Yeah.
So if you can't afford, for example, the bus fare to go to town to get your photo taken and then do all the extra steps,
Yeah.
well, that's a lot of hurdles that are going to disenfranchise people from voting.
Yeah.
You paid $150, Diana? Jeez.
Will and the other American know perfectly well that this is a very tired old tactic to disenfranchise people from voting.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys
Yep,
have
it's
a
been going on
really
around
low-
here for years.
You guys have a really low voter turnout as well. So you guys are just like us. Where people probably, everybody cries about things that are going on and they refuse to vote.
I'll
If you
tell
don't
you,
vote, don't bitch. That's the philosophy I was raised with.
Mike, what do you think about this? As far as I understand it, and it kind of is a little bit complicated, the Johnson thing has said that this will only be for first-time voters.
Right.
Now, I can't really get my head around that. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, because the next time they vote, they won't be first-time voters.
No.
Do they still need the ID?
I don't know.
If
I don't
things
know.
keep going the way that they're going in your neck of the woods, I would not be surprised if they did need it.
What I want to know is, how did we get from needing a special passport to prove that you've been vaccinated to get into pubs, being unconstitutional or whatever, to it's perfectly acceptable for ID to be needed to in order to vote.
This is one of the hilarious things.
Your government is taking a page right out of the Donald Trump playbook. You're passing these ridiculous voter ID laws, let me guess, because somebody, and by somebody I mean Mr. Johnson, is running around claiming massive voter fraud. Would I be wrong in that guess?
Well, and Priti Patel is kicking out she's walking around with a chart and kicking out anybody who's not on the chart.
Oh, do not get me started on that bitch, for fuck's sake.
But when you guys are talking, you're literally saying her policies. So Boris Johnson is enacting what she wants, basically. It's gross. It's gross.
It is gross, and I keep saying this. I know I'm Godwinning myself, but they're literally...
Oh, B's here.
They're doing the thing from the 1930s.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it scares me. It absolutely fucking terrifies me. And it scares me because, not just because of what they're doing, but the fact that tens and tens of millions of people are falling for this crap.
Yeah.
That's scary. That is really fucking scary.
Well, you have to get people scared, disenfranchised, make them into flag shaggers, and then they'll do anything you want. Put it on the side of a bus. Put it on the side of a bus. Tell them that there's no more newspaper for their British fish.
So this thing
Propaganda
with the voter ID, if I understand it correctly, it's for first-time voters.
Oh,
Like,
right.
just
Okay.
just think about that.
Hmm.
That means young people,
Yeah,
and young people tend to vote not conservative.
exactly.
Exactly.
And I saw
Yeah.
last night that your country has less young people, and you basically have more people over 50 than people under 30.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I thought that was really weird.
Oh my God! So like England is a giant Florida.
Age wise, yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Exactly, because Florida's where all the old people go. I guess England is where all the old people stay.
Arizona too. It's like Arizona.
Anyway,
I don't know with Arizona. So let's get back on track here. We've really
Yeah.
derailed the discussion, and it's all Will's fault. We're gonna
Well,
blame
it's-
Will today. We're not
No,
gonna blame
I'm Canada. You can blame
It's
me.
my fault.
Blame
It's
Will.
always my
Blame
fault.
Canada.
Boris Johnson
Blame
promises
the French. Blame the French guy.
Okay,
Promises-
so blame you.
Boris Johnson promises COVID inquiry in current parliamentary session.
Yes,
Who-
but when
who-
in the current session?
Who here believes that this is going to happen?
Cricket, 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 cricket. Exactly.
Oh,
It will happen, but you have to rewind to what you said earlier about the Fixed Term Parliament Act,
yes.
because he's wanting to get rid of that. Well, not him, his controllers.
Hmm.
Oh my God! So Boris Johnson is a reverse marionette. I get it now. He needs other people to pull his strings.
Exactly.
That's
Speaking of
what
which,
we used to call my father.
You know, I'm just the observant American, but isn't he under investigation for his flat that he spent a bunch of money on? Or is that just
Oh, Will didn't. Oh, Will,
sensationalized?
you missed it a couple of shows ago.
Yeah.
Mike and I were discussing the fact that he's under investigation, but unfortunately, he retains the final authority to decide whether he broke any ministerial conduct. So,
Yeah.
an independent authority can go ahead and say, "Okay, Johnson broke the rules," but Johnson has the authority to be like, "No, I didn't," nah, and it goes away.
He's under investigation. It's not just him personally. and this is what, and I know Mike understands this. I'm doing this for the Americans. It's not just him personally under investigation. It's like an illegal act has happened.
Mhm.
So it needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
So the Johnson person, I think he's got about 8 inquiries looking into him at the moment, right now. And his latest one, which I found hilarious, he has a CCJ. Mike knows what that is, and that's what happens to poor people. If you don't pay a bill and you get in trouble, you'll get a CCJ, a county court judgment. He's got one, which has just been made apparent to us, and I think I know what it's for. And because I'm kind of awesome and sexy and a sleuth. And
If you're sexy, then I'm a Republican.
oh, I think we all know I'm sexy. Anyway, move along. I'll tell you about this in next week's show when you've got your notes ready, Mike.
But I was going. I know I was going to include that, but I didn't have time in the end. And there's so much news happening. It was just too much.
Oh yeah, bombs keep dropping left and right, literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
The
the thing that's a really bad thing, but that's the thing that we don't talk about, is it? There is shit going on in other parts of the world, but
major shit going on that I don't think is going to end well this time at all, because they've escalated while we're having this conversation right now again.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, the Independent goes on. Boris Johnson has promised that an inquiry into the government's handling of the coronavirus crisis will be held in the current parliamentary session. The Prime Minister has been under pressure to say when a probe into the response would be held, having previously acknowledged the need for one. The Prime Minister would not set a date for the inquiry, although parliamentary sessions normally last around 1 year.
Oh, so it could just be whenever the hell he feels like it.
It's probably going to be this time next year. But it could also, it could also be this time to 2023. It could be even, because the longest, according to the article, the government can choose to make them longer at will. However, with the 2017 to 2019 session, the longest on record.
I don't understand why people are so stupid. Am I
Neither
the only
do
person?
I. Stool missed it. In fact, before we went live, speaking of people being stupid, I saw something on the Twitters, and I was saying to Mike, it very much saddens me that we have to tell people not to put gasoline in plastic bags.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Like I said when I came in, I can never make fun of your country because we all have phones and internet. We see what's going on in mine right now. Have you seen the burnt out the person that filled their car with gas cans? They had a Hummer. They lit a cigarette and their car exploded.
Yeah.
What? I don't think this is worth the fact that happened to the fact that I'm completely unsurprised that someone was that fucking stupid. Do people? I learned in middle school, gasoline fumes catch fire.
So somewhere on the archives in my computer, I have cell phone footage of I'm at a stoplight one time, and there were young men in a truck, in a smaller truck, and he had his hand out the back, and he was holding a giant gas can with one, and the guy was smoking a cigarette in the same sense. I ran the red light. It's on film of me saying, "Oh, F you," and I ran the red light. Because
this is why, actually, you know what? If I had to develop a pulmonary embolism, I have to say that this is kind of a blessing because now I don't have to worry that I'll be smoking a cigarette, minding my business, throw the cigarette out the window, and the idiot behind me has a car full of gas cans, and I inadvertently make him go boom.
Exactly. So
I have to ask myself: has the world always been full of the stupids?
Yes, but now they have a soapbox on the internet.
But now they have a soapbox, so the stupid spread.
But also, it's population. Because I know just pointless and weird facts. In 1939, I believe the world population was 2 billion. What's our population now? And that's 81 years ago. It's not that long ago. So we've increased the stupid. We have scary numbers around, so there's going to be...
Yeah, you know what it was? We got less puritanical. We started fucking like bunnies and popping out more kids.
To quote Doctor Who, if you start off with a broom, then you switch the handle,
Doctor Who,
and then you switch the broom, and then you switch the handle, and then you switch the broom. Is it still the same broom? I just miss Peter Capaldi. I just want him to come curse me out. That's all.
Capaldi was brilliant.
Sounds like a very weird wet dream there, Will.
Yeah, 50-50. Could go either way.
So
Titan is saying, "Don't worry, world population will halve in the next generation."
Well, how is it going to have? Is it finally going to be? Is it finally going to become legal for us women to kill our stupid husbands when they beat us? I honestly believe, my aunt once told me she believes, and I agree with her, that women who kill their abusive husbands should get a $10,000 reward. That would have solved so many of my problems if that was a thing when I was married. That's my ex-husband. There, I said it again.
As the American who just completely came in here and derailed everything. I had an aunt who in 1930s Los Angeles shot her abusive husband at the kitchen table, and they let her go, and she killed him. She was banging his service rifle on the table, and it went off. So back in the day, but she had like the bruises and everything, and they let her go.
The fact that that happened then, and now in these times in 2021, I honestly believe, and I mean, I've got a dent in my skull. I was always full of bruises my entire marriage. I honestly believe that if I had shot my ex-husband, which I wish I would have, but still, I'd be in prison for the rest of my life right now. So that's a way we've kind of gone backwards.
So, but to go back, I have a real question. How is it, and this is just, again, from an outsider, when did you guys realize that you were at the point of no return? With the B word, with the other B word that ends with Johnson?
No. It's Thursday. We can say Boris Johnson now.
But when was it, like, besides Brexit or Boris Johnson, when was it where you like, oh, everything has changed?
2016.
Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
So was it just downhill race after that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
It seems like the incline was at a much steeper angle than what you demonstrated there, Will.
But then it was also, for me, I think it was also 2019 when we voted for a majority Tory government.
Overwhelming majority.
In order to get Brexit done.
Which can I ask a question again? This is just back in the class. Is Brexit done?
No,
that's what I thought. And how many years are we on now? Since the initial referendum.
Since the initial referendum, since 2016, since we had the. So, Brexit will never be done because
lovely, kind of like the construction on I-95 here in good old Pennsylvania.
There's some stuff that needs to be renegotiated every. Still will know this, but I think it's every 2 years or so. So it's going to go on and on and on. Ad nauseum.
Is Scotland going to get a referendum? Are they going to be allowed to vote, or is it going to be Michael Gove suing what's her face? I'm sorry, I forgot her. Nicola
Sturgeon.
I just don't say it right. Sturgeon. Are they going to just be in court forever?
Well, that is what is going to have to happen. I think the SNP are going to have to take our government to court because the Tory, the Tories have got a whopping majority. So good luck getting a Scottish referendum through Parliament. It's not going to happen.
That's what I thought when all the votes happened. I was like, well, that's part of, like G.I. Joe used to say, that's just part of the fight.
I've just remembered a very important motto because you were talking about angles.
Okay.
Yeah.
The angle of the dangle is proportional to the heat of the meat.
Right.
Go away, Stool.
Thank you.
That's a penis joke.
Okay. I know it's a penis joke, and that's why I'm saying, you know what, Stool, shut up. This is on the sofa, not on the ding-a-ling.
Or that's like a 19th century butcher joke.
Are we ready to hear about Boris Johnson's connections to Russian oligarchs?
Ooh,
of course we are.
Ooh.
This is why I accepted this gig.
I knew he was Boris Johnson ski.
Old news, but carry on.
Yeah, this is from the Byline Times. Tip of the iceberg: more connections between Boris Johnson and Russian influencers emerge.
The fact that you can Photoshop Donald Trump's face onto there and you don't see much of a difference.
While Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee report into Russian influence on British public life remains suppressed by the Prime Minister and his advisor Dominic Cummings, Byline Times has uncovered concerning new connections between Boris Johnson and a network of wealthy oligarchs.
This sounds familiar.
It does, doesn't it?
I'm having war flashbacks.
After Johnson was elected Mayor of London in 2008, he discontinued the successful Russian Winter Festival, which had taken place in London, replacing it instead with a new Russian festival, Malicintius.
Oh, you tried. You tried. You get a gold star.
What the fuck does that even say?
I could say it in Spanish. Masilentia. Masilencia.
Okay.
No, this is Spanish, Will. Wrong side of Europe.
Johnson argued that the proposal for the new festival from a UK registered company called Ensemble Productions was already supported by Moscow's city government, the Russian embassy, the Russian culture charity Pushkin House, and the Russian-speaking community council. The executive director of Pushkin House was Julian Gallant, a Conservative Party activist and the main shareholder in Ensemble Productions. Meanwhile, the CEO of Ensemble Productions was Olga Balakleets, the culture secretary
ridiculous name
of the RSCC and the wife of Gallant.
Balakleets. You know what? I'm not letting that go.
You know what? My last name is Swiss. I can't judge. My last name is Swiss, and you would laugh if I told you what it was. So we all have complicated.
Your last name is Holy Cheese.
Close enough.
Although the new event was still under the auspices of the Mayor of London's office at City Hall, Russia would provide the majority of support and funding for it. According to a Freedom of Information request, Johnson annually requested this support from high-ranking Russian officials and instructed them to follow up with Ensemble Productions directly. This included Russian President Vladimir Putin's Chief of Staff, Sergei Ivanov.
Sergei. They don't use the soft G like that in Russia. Everything's hard, including the vodka.
Okay. Sergei Ivanov, the architect of Russian interference in the 2016 US presidential election, and Yuri Lushkov, the long-term mayor of Moscow. In 2013, corporate sponsorship for the Masilencia Festival appears to have gone directly to Ensemble Productions. That year, the company also helped run the Days of Ukraine Festival in London, which was supported by Boris Johnson and organized by the Firtash Foundation. Dmitry Firtash, who is under US indictment and awaiting extradition from Austria, is a pro-Putin oligarch and a close supporter of the former Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych, who was ousted in a popular uprising in 2013 after he backtracked on a pledge to tie the country more closely to Europe than Russia.
Yes, Stool, is there something you would like to say? You're raising your hand like a good boy.
I would, thank you very much. Firstly, Mike, you said Moscow.
Yes.
You're not American. Say it properly. Secondly, none of this is new.
You're such a snob.
You are such a snob.
That's what makes you French, Stool. You're not
this, Stool.
Jesus, fuck, I'm not French. Should I do my thing again? I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
Hello, Randolph, by the way.
Bonsoir et bienvenue chez Mike sur le canapé, which apparently means good evening and welcome to Mike on the bed. But whatever, it works.
On the bed now. Is that our adult? After show? You know what, Mike? We should do that one of these days. An adult themed after show called On the Bed, or in the sex dungeon.
Please don't call it on the bed with Mike because no.
So just as a social experiment, Purple told me even if you put the word boobies in your description, you'll get more viewers.
You know
He was
what?
talking about a bird. He was talking about a bird.
You know, and you know what? I have the perfect way we can do that.
She was talking about a bird, and she got way more viewers.
You know what? We should try that, Mike. In our description, we could call it Boris the Boob.
You'll get it way.
There we go.
You will.
Boris the Boob gets titty fucked by the arm of justice.
Oh. Hashtag British boobies.
So why did they blur out the leg? Is it to make it look obscene in that picture? So when you were scrolling, Boris Johnson had his arm around a young woman, and they blurred out the leg. Is that to make it look more obscene?
I don't know. But
maybe she's a cyborg. I don't know.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's not a leg.
So I'm not going to go through the whole article, but this is dodgy AF, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is giving me war flashbacks to 2017 through January 20th of this year.
The sad thing is, Byline Times do some good stuff, but it's not new because if you're sexy like what I am, it's not news.
No, you're not.
None of this is secret. It's all.
I was about to say.
It's all there for everybody to see.
The only difference between the UK and America is that Donald Trump was blatant about it, and he didn't care.
Yeah, Johnson. I'll give Johnson this. I think he has half a brain cell more than Trump.
Have you?
And maybe that's too generous.
You know, it's so sad. I can't believe I'm going to admit to this, but I can't say I read his book about. I think it's the M4. He wrote a book a while ago. But I heard excerpts from it. It was awful. Awful. But if you look it up, he wrote a book. He wrote a book about cars. You should look it up.
I don't think I should. I like my brain cells. At least what's left of them. At least what's left of them, between dealing with stupid people and my day-to-day routine being absorbed by doctor's appointments, I'm slowly losing my brain cells, but I like what I have left.
I'll look it up right now.
Who are you talking about? Who wrote this book?
Hold on. Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson wrote a book. There you go. So we can read Boris Johnson's book, and then we can rebuild our brains reading Mike's book. There we go. I plugged it so school doesn't have to.
He has quite a few.
Yeah.
The fact that Boris Johnson wrote any book at all, I mean, this is going to sound really mean, but that's my trademark anyway. I didn't even know he could read, let alone write.
It's from 2007. It's called Life in the Fast Lane. It's
wasn't that just some foreshadowing?
If he wasn't just looking for pure innuendo, he found it. A lot of knob references.
I don't think he was looking for innuendo. I think he'll be looking for in his endo.
That's how he made his money. He used to write things, and I use that term very loosely. He used to write for newspapers, and
the fact that anybody would entertain his drivel sickens me.
He would be paid a shit ton of money, like, I don't know, £500,000 a year for writing a few articles. Yeah. And he's the one back in the day. He would and you've got to bear in mind that he's been sacked twice as a journalist for lying. And he was the C word.
And now so he went from that to Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. That doesn't do very well And, I've got a 3-year-old, and I'm trying to teach her that being a piece of shit doesn't work out in the end.
No, that's the
Real are not doing a very good job of backing me up.
It's the definition of failing upwards.
He was the C word, whose job, he was based in Brussels, and his job was to be the Brussels correspondent for the right-wing tabloid trash.
So he was a Brussels sprout.
He would make crap up about how the EU hates everybody and hates the UK and all that shit.
Oh, sounds like he would have fit in quite well at Fox News.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly, because he will say whatever will get him paid money.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
And he got fired for, by the previous leader of the Conservative Party because he lied to him about having an affair. He said he wasn't having an affair when he was. Mm-hmm. And he got sacked.
We've well established he's not capable of keeping his dick in his pants or being honest about his inability to keep his dick in his pants.
He's been, as far as I know, or as far as we know, he's been fired from his jobs at least 3 times for being an absolute lying piece of crap.
Yeah.
That's on record. He is a lying piece of crap. So I find it kind of weird. I'm not even going to talk about the fact that he's had 7 children at least. And
he reproduced. I keep forgetting about that. Now you remind me, and now I'm going to have to go bathe in acid.
So and when he became prime minister, the woman that moved into number 10 with him was his girlfriend, not his wife. He was still married to his wife. Conservative values.
He's just a little fucking Chad.
So I watch Kate Smurthwaite, who's kind of like rebel media. She's from the UK. And I think like a year ago, or it's probably a year and a half ago, she made a countdown of Boris Johnson's lies. And she went from 10 to like negative 15 because she just kept on going and going. But like he's lied about condom sizes to the EU. Like he's lied about all kinds of just like he tells fairy tales.
Yeah.
And I know this because of her.
But what upsets me, what angers me, is that people in this country keep voting for him. That they either don't know how corrupt he is, or they do know and they don't give a toss.
I'm gonna go with they know and they don't give a flying fuck in the world. That's the norm around here, and that's why we're on such a decline. We're rewarding the scumbags by putting them in positions of power and then doing everything possible to keep them there.
Yeah.
Because God forbid we admit that we're just, accidentally putting people with serious moral failings.
Because I'm a sad nerd.
So lie number 1,
pays attention.
He promised the over 75s they were going to get their license fees paid for, and it was a complete lie.
First of all, why are over 75s still driving? I say this as a resident of Pennsylvania where nobody knows how to drive anyway, but the old people are worse.
I apologize. It was the television licensing fee.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a...
It's my West Coast English. I'm very non-specific sometimes.
What you have, and because I'm sexy and awesome, as you all know.
No.
I know how this works. You've got 3 levels. Forget about the people at the top who are pulling the strings, but the voters, you've got 3 levels. You've got the people who absolutely adore him, and they're so, you must never say anything bad about these people. They're the real hardcore, I'm not going to say brown shirts or anything. I'm not going to talk about little mustaches, but those people. one step down, you've got the people who want it to be true, so they'll go along with it. And then the third level, they don't give a shit. They enjoy the lies. Because why do they enjoy the lies? Because it upsets the opposition. And that's what we're in now. It's Trump land.
That's what we
He
dealt
was
with.
sacked from the Conservative Party for lying about his affair. That's lie number 2. Sorry, I could go on for days. Like I haven't watched this video in a while, and
I have been going on for weeks about the lies.
No, but
coming
she
out of
made
Trump's
this. She
mouth.
made this video exactly a year ago.
Ah,
So the lies have continued basically.
yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Anyway, moving on. Al Aqsa attack. Boris Johnson's silence over Israeli violence is a disgrace. This is an article
This
by.
runs the risk of getting me on a diatribe. Y'all don't want me to go on one of my tirades.
This is an article by. This is an article. This is an article by Peter O'Rourke. The British Prime Minister's silence on Israel's latest assault against Palestinians in the occupied city and in the Gaza Strip is inexcusable. Okay, go off.
So
Can I just point one very technical thing out here, please?
Yes.
I need to do this because I did some science the other day, and what I see on my screen is not what you see, so I'm not actually talking over you. I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay.
But you do seem to be getting rather angry. Do you need a cup of hot milk?
I just had some hot chocolate earlier with Lucky Charms marshmallows in it. It was tasty.
I'm going to add this to my list of things to do if I can ever be asked to make a YouTube video, which I can't.
Yeah.
I'll explain to you how this fucking does not work when you rely on 4G to do this kind of thing. It's a very weird technical thing that, well, even breaks my massive light bulb head. It's very weird. Anyway, continue.
So, I mean, this we're having a similar, here in the United States, I really don't approve of our government's stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict. Israel is trying to just take over Palestine, and the Palestinians are defending themselves. And rather than standing up for human rights, the U.S. government is buried in Netanyahu's asshole.
I think all you need to do, ask anybody that you ever hear make a comment or have an opinion on this matter, just say to them, explain the situation to me. And I'll bet you £3.50 they can't. Because it's not about what's happening there. It's a racism thing and it's a religion thing. Complicated, but
I'm looking in the chat. I just want to say something to B. I'm sure there are plenty of old people that are perfectly capable and still sharp as a tack and able to drive. None of them live where I do, so I have a little inherent bias there. Pennsylvanians are terrible drivers. Philadelphians even more so. Old Philadelphians are just forget it. I don't know how I haven't lost my shit and been on the news from road rage. What do you want?
Sorry, I had to go marinate my meat.
Okay, you know what, Will? We didn't need to know that you were using your fleshlight.
No, you can't get your pudding if you don't eat your meat.
No, I know about that. I listen to Pink Floyd. I'm cultured and civilized.
Oh, I do miss Pink Floyd.
You don't eat your meat.
Will, do you like Pink Floyd?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Pink Floyd is like one
I
of
have
those
it in my
bands that
head
has a
right now.
cult
I
following here.
respect Sofa, so I'm not gonna pull a stool and sing copyrighted material.
I'm going to add this to my playlist now, Will, because me and you, we've got this ever-growing playlist of things that we're going to have to sing together. And I've got a really awesome Pink Floyd song that me and you will do well together.
Please tell me it's another brick in the wall part 2.
And here's why. Here's why, Will.
Why
You've got
is-
you look at me, Will.
Oh my God! Say what you have to say. You're doing that British thing again.
You've got the dark shade. Listen, you've got the dark shades. All you need to do now is wobble your head, man. Wobble your head.
Leave him
I
alone.
haven't
He's
done
not
that in,
Stevie
like,
Wonder
30
or Ray
years.
Charles.
And Stevie Wonder. I miss both of them.
Stevie
Yeah,
Wonder's still
but then
alive.
No, it's sad. It's sad when they still card out Stevie because he's bald all the way up to here, and then he has braids all the way back here. He needs to just let it go. Stevie is
Oh, no.
sad.
I
Stevie is
think,
so
I think
sad.
he's worried about people confusing him for Ray Charles.
Ray Charles passed a while ago.
No, I know. But
This is-
some people are
this is
stupid
no-
and believe in conspiracy theories, and you never know what tinfoil hat wearing moron might claim Stevie Wonder is Ray Charles back from the dead. The
So
shit
I
people come up
promise
with,
I
This
nothing
is
check
was
now
concrete.
turned into a very loud, shouty, who hates Stevie Wonder the most stream. Well done, Mike. Congratulations. But here's the thing, Will. Stevie Wonder rocks. And if you don't like him, guess what you are?
The R word. I can't even say it.
Yeah, I know you can't say it because you're embarrassed.
I'll drink to that.
First to say, continuing the driver's license discussion, if it makes you feel any better, B, there are a lot of people who think I should not have a driver's license. If that's any comfort. I'm 27 for context.
No, I'll tell you flat out. I'm nope. I'm not because I'm not going to derail this anymore. But I'm a terrible driver.
And he derails it.
It's anyway. We'll just touch on this briefly, and then we'll move on. But
That is what she said.
the article goes on. It's been less than a week since British Prime Minister Boris Johnson ordered 2 patrol vessels to the Channel Islands, port of St Helier, in an escalation of tensions with France. Amid front-page banner headlines and media fanfare, government sources accused Paris of sinking lower than Jersey's Nazi occupiers during the Second World War. According to a government source quoted by the Telegraph, at least when the Germans invaded, they kept the lights on. Welcome.
Oh,
You see what you French people have done?
Oh, that's a low shout and bad salute and a brown shirt. Ouch.
Ooh.
that's how British press.
Oof.
Yes.
Oof.
Well, welcome to what passes for foreign policy in Johnson's Britain. Compare and contrast this with the British Prime Minister's reaction to the terrible events in Jerusalem over the past few days. Israeli forces firing rubber-coated metal bullets and dispensing tear gas invaded Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third most sacred site in Islam. Yet the British Prime Minister has had nothing to say.
Imagine that.
How do we feel about this?
Well, like I said, a lot of the supposed first world countries, unfortunately, seem to actually think Israel has a legitimate cause here.
Well, we had this conversation last night. Not necessarily true. Barack Obama, at the end of his presidency, because he knew no one could mess with him, completely and utterly condemned Israel and was pulling back. Trump, for an utter and complete political move, moved the embassy to Jerusalem.
No, I remember the embassy being moved to Jerusalem, and that was just slimy.
I'm gonna say this because it's semi-controversial. But Trump is to blame for what's going on there. As a very least, he absolutely plays a massive part because if we had put an adult in the White House instead of Trump, perhaps things would have progressed differently because Trump's actions absolutely emboldened Israel to escalate its behavior here. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Palestinians have nothing but rocks to defend themselves. Do they really feel that big and bad over it? Like, really? It's terrible. It makes me sick to think about any sort of human rights abuse. I can't even stomach.
I think also
I've invented a. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, Mr. Cousteau.
No, you go ahead.
No, Jacques Cousteau. I can actually properly say.
No, you go ahead.
Shut up, Frenchie.
I think I've invented a new phrase, and I don't know whether it's really a bad one or a good one, but I'm going to call it racism by proxy. Okay. Now, I've told Will about this before in one of our sordid late night shenanigans, where we dance and get naked.
That's not a mental image I needed. I guess that's what I get for giving Mike a mental image earlier.
Oh, it's a good image. Me and Will are sexy, but here's the thing.
Will is sexy. You are not.
I kind of am, but here's the thing. Over here in Plague Island, and I have told Will this before. I've told Will this before, and it's really boring, but I find it weird and interesting. The two top, and Mike will maybe understand this, I don't know, but the top two football teams in Scotland, I don't know what they're called because I don't know football. So Rangers and I don't know, Celtic or whatever they're called. When they play each other, the fans of one team will carry the flag of Israel. The other team will carry the flag of Palestine or whatever. That makes no sense to me because it's a football game. It's about tribalism.
Oh, I agree. They do the same thing at our Pride Festival. They'll bring out a 200-foot Palestinian flag, and I almost got in a fight with somebody. I'm like, would they let us have a Pride Festival in Palestine? I've asked that question before, not to completely derail it, but people, they do it as a virtue signal. I agree with what you're saying, Stool.
I disagree with you. I have to disagree with you, Will, on that one. It's not virtual. Sorry, it's not virtual signaling.
Virtue signaling.
Fuck you. That's not a real thing. That's not a real thing. It really is.
It's performative activism when people, they're just saying, oh, look at me, I'm wearing this shirt, but then they do nothing to actually help the cause.
Yeah.
I knew people, for example, I knew someone who would bring people who have absconded from North Korea. They would bring them to LA. That person was an activist. They would risk their life, and they would bring people here and incorporate them into society.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with being an activist or standing up for your beliefs. If you want to wave a flag to show that you believe in something, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But don't do it because you're part of a club.
Yeah. Don't do it because everybody else is, basically.
Yeah. So I guess I just agreed with Will.
Oh my God, what a moment in history. Oh my God. Mike, get the camera.
On this day, we finally reached a consensus.
This is going in the history books.
This is kind of like the time when your fellow French people helped us kick out those palms out of our country. That's why every state in America has a Lafayette something. It's true. Look it up. I dare you to not find a Lafayette in where you live if you live in America.
I don't know if there's a Lafayette in New Jersey.
Something or a statue.
I'm originally from New Jersey, so it's funny. I've lived here for over a year, and I'm still not entirely used to the fact that I live in Pennsylvania. I always think New Jersey when I think of my home state.
Just going to put this out here. Yeah. Ron Lafayette Hubbard. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Scientology.
Moving on.
There is a Lafayette in New Jersey. I will move on. I'll stop talking. Thank you.
Shut up, Will. Oh my god, you made a new intro screen for that. I love it, Mike.
And he did it. He did it perfectly timed as well.
Labour
I'm so proud of you. And I'm not patronising at all.
Yeah, sure you're not. Shut up, Stool.
So Angela Rayner has been sacked as Labour chair after a Hartlepool by-election loss. She's been scapegoat, basically. She's been scapegoated.
How fast after the election was she fired?
Just a day, I think.
Yeah, because it was news. She's absolutely a scapegoat. I feel sorry for her. She's being used, and it's sad.
Oh, and of course, yep. There's your buddy, Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
There he goes again.
It's not a good look for him, is it?
No.
Is anything he does a good look for him anymore? Let's be realistic. Have we had anything nice to say about him in the entire time we've been doing this show ever?
I don't think so, no.
Exactly. I rest my case.
I have a shirt that has George Bush on it, and it says, "Do you miss me yet?" And on the back it says no. I'm gonna get a shirt with Jeremy Corbyn, and it's gonna say, "Do you miss me yet?"
Can you please order me one too? Can we order? You know what? That's gonna be Mike's Christmas present from all of us. We're gonna get him that.
That one's free. Put it on your Teespring.
Yeah.
A picture of Corbyn with the "Do you miss me yet?"
Yeah. What I didn't understand about this is that the day that they had this loss, Keir Starmer said, "I take full responsibility."
And as usual, that was bullshit.
Yeah, and then the next day he sacks Angela Rayner, his second in command. I'm taking full responsibility. Oh, but it's somebody else's fault, not mine.
Which is it? Are you taking full responsibility, or is it somebody else's fault?
So
decide, please.
There's this new age thing where it used to be like the Starfleet thing. Like, I'm taking full responsibility. You tell everyone to get off the ship, and then you crash your ship into the Klingons. Nowadays, it's saying, I'm going to take full responsibility, and I'm going to sack my entire staff. It's not about taking responsibility. It's about just saying the words and getting it out there for the media.
Since we're talking about virtue signaling.
That's exactly what it is. Because people are saps and they believe what they hear. It's sad. It's really sad. Yeah. Goes back to what we were saying earlier.
And he's basically scapegoating her. And the article goes on. Keir Starmer has sacked Angela Rayner from her roles as Labour's party chair and national campaign coordinator after the humiliating loss of the Hartlepool by-election. The worst than expected defeat in Hartlepool, which saw the Conservatives... It's not
pronounced Hartlepool. It looks like it should be... It looks like it should be pronounced Hartlepool.
I've had this conversation with Stool over Ickley, which sounds like Eckley or Oakley. I've had this whole conversation. It's pronounced weird.
Yeah.
I see that.
Hey, Randy.
We saw the Conservatives take the seats with a majority of almost 7,000, shocked Starmer's team, and led to recriminations at the top of the party. And basically, Starmer is blaming everyone but himself.
But he takes full responsibility. Whatever are you speaking of? What else are you talking about?
And who else is he blamed?
Do we want the laundry list or the abridged version?
Keir Starmer and his allies in the Labour Party have also been blaming Jeremy Corbyn.
But what does he have to do with this?
Even though he hasn't been the leader for a year now,
Yeah.
and he's
If
no
you've
longer.
heard, sorry, Mike, if you've heard the audio from Corbyn, he basically says, "Look, you kicked me out. I've not been involved in this for over a year. So why the fuck are you blaming me for this?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of true, but you've got this weird thing. It's. I think it's similar with the American people, with the Democrat Party. Too busy fighting amongst themselves to actually sort shit out.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. There's a lot of division in the more liberal side of our fence. And really, I just think it's ridiculous because there's a common sense solution. While the Republicans continue to pose a threat
They're imploding,
to
though.
our
They are
entire
imploding.
democracy as we know it, because Trump is opening his mouth and because his lackeys are still in Congress wreaking havoc, we have to be pragmatic here. Get them out first. Get the Republicans the hell out of power first. Then worry about whether the Democratic candidates are taking corporate money. You know, priorities, motherfuckers. Please, for the love of God. We get it. You're mad that Bernie Sanders didn't win the nomination. Yes, it's possible that he got fucked in 2016. I'm not taking that away from anybody. But, you know, there are bigger fish to fry right now. We almost fucking collapsed as a society because, and I mean, the national statistics showed this. The election in 2016 was, I mean, the Electoral College wasn't, but the popular vote was close enough that maybe if a few people in red states hadn't voted third party to vote their conscience, maybe we wouldn't have had this problem.
I agree with Shouty Sci Niece on this one because no, I actually do agree.
I'm passionate about this. It bothers me a great deal that there are people on the farther side of the left spectrum that put corporate shells, but accepting super PAC money. It's like, can we please get our priorities in order and worry about getting rid of the Republicans before we do anything else? Once we've got the Republican threat neutralized, then we can worry about where everybody's campaign funds come from.
I absolutely agree with this. I absolutely agree with this. With the points that you're making, because you've got to get priorities organised.
Yes.
The first thing you need to
absolutely needed to be overturned. Corporations are not people.
I'm going to use my fingers. Okay, I'm going to use my fingers.
Oh, congratulations! That's what she said.
Okay. That's the small finger, but this is the big finger down here. If you want to get to that, you have to remove that little thing first. It's as simple as that to me. You've got to remove that little thing that is standing in the way. And this obviously goes back to the orange one. And I got in so much trouble for saying this. It doesn't matter what you want. Get rid of that thing first. That's your priority.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. It's okay to, you know, I want our healthcare system to be completely overhauled. For-profit healthcare needs to be outlawed. I believe private insurance companies need to be a thing of the past. You know, I have as much of a bleeding heart left agenda as anyone. I'm totally for all the ideas Bernie Sanders has, but I also recognize that they're not possible right now because too many of these old people, like around Stool's age, when he was a kid, people rode dinosaurs to school. You know, that concept, the concepts that Bernie was bringing up, scare
Yabba dabba doo.
they scare too much of the people that actually go out there and vote. Now, if younger people would get their asses into the polls and vote, because us younger people here, we have the opposite where you guys do in the UK. We have a lot more younger people now, younger eligible voters, than we do old people. The old people are finally starting to die. So
It's
if
true.
the young people would get out there and they would vote, just focus on getting the Republican threat neutralized first. I mean, look what they just did to Liz Cheney. All because she stood up for the truth of the matter and said, you know what, I need to put my country over my party. I'm not going to follow this ridiculousness. And because she wouldn't feed into the big lie, they're ousting her and making her a pariah. We need to get rid of people that engage in that kind of childishness first. Then we can worry about, okay, big whoop. Okay, somebody's accepting corporate money. We can worry about things like Citizens United. We can worry about things like universal health care and making college education more accessible to the low income. We can worry about that later, but right now we've got to get the Republicans out of here before they plunge us back into the dark.
Really quick. Randy is backstage, and I'm gonna take off because I have to go barbecue, and I don't want to show off.
Oh my gosh, what are you going to? Well,
I could take my laptop back there.
Damn it! You know how much this turns me on. What are you going to do?
Hello.
Oh, Randy!
I'm gonna click out and then I'll click back in with my laptop. And if
I like the fedora, Randy.
Hi, Randy.
I like the hat very much.
Thank you for joining. And anyway, as you can see from this,
go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, you know what, Mike? You're the host. You take charge here.
With my show. And the topic was, are poor people lazy?
I'm a poor people, and no, the fuck I'm not.
Political crap. Nope. We have the working poor in most of our Western countries. It's what we're called, working poor. And it doesn't matter. You're not lazy. If it takes 2 people 80 hours a week to work and you still can't keep up with the house and raising your kids, something is definitely wrong, and it sure as hell ain't you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was working 50, 60 hours a week just on my own and almost died from it. So, and I'm still fucking poor. So guess what? I ain't fucking lazy.
No.
So, anyway, look at this lovely graph we have here of Keir Starmer's approval rating. I'm surprised he has one.
It's plummeting, basically.
Good. It's perfect.
The blue is how it's how well people think he's doing. The grey is don't know, and the red is the percentage of people who think that Keir Starmer is doing badly. So, and this is based on a poll by YouGov. So
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Oh.
YouGov is gov for you. Hardy har. Okay, there. I made my dad joke. Anyway.
You don't know who YouGov is, or Keir
There's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know, and I thought we knew this. I thought it was a running joke.
I'm registered with YouGov, so I get the notifications of when to do the surveys.
Yeah.
And are you?
Now, are they
Mike?
a neutral third party, YouGov, or are they slanted in any direction?
Are you talking over me?
Motherfucker, who's the co-host and who's the guest?
Debatable. Mike, do you get the note? Are you registered with YouGov? Do you get the things that say, "Hey, let's do a quick poll"?
No, I'm not registered with them.
Okay, I do, and they're very, very not fair.
Okay.
YouGov is basically owned by surprise, surprise, a Tory donor. So
Okay, so that might not be the best. That might not be the most accurate source of information. Then, is what you are saying to us right now.
it's kind of what I'm hinted at. Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
hmm
So, moving on. What else have we got here?
Okay, so we're going to move on to
My favorite part of the show?
yes.
The outro.
I will never stop being proud of myself for suggesting that music clip to you. So, here we are with my favorite part of the show, and where I usually take over leading the discussion, ridiculous Republicans.
Yeah.
Wherever shall we start, Mike? I'm on my phone, so I can't access the Google Doc, or I'm going to get thrown off the stream. Throw me something. Let's go.
Marjorie Taylor Greene slammed for mad claim that Fauci paid for creation of man-made COVID-19.
We can put that into fewer words. Marjorie Taylor Greene has opened her mouth again. Imagine that. Well, now that the sad remains of my brain is just, about as effective as my left lung right now, let's delve into this, shall we?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are conspiracy theories anyway that COVID-19 was man-made, but let's just see how far this rabbit hole goes. So, QAnon-loving, that's an understatement, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene unleashed an insane conspiracy theory about Dr. Fauci paying to create the novel coronavirus. We're not even going to get into how much bullshit that is. So, writing on Twitter, because of course that's the favored platform of Republican nutjobs, Greene made the claim that as part of her push to get Fauci fired as America's top infectious disease expert. Newsflash, you dumb cunt! Trump's not in office anymore. Biden ain't gonna fire him. Because Biden and Fauci both have brains. We like brains in this administration. Not snorting Adderall. Anyway, we must pass my bill, the Fire Fauci Act. She really called it the Fire Fauci Act. Holy fuck. No one elected Dr. Fauci. He's the highest paid federal employee. First of all, no, he's not. I'm pretty sure that's not true. At his direction, shutdowns and masks are ruining our country. No, that was Trump. For what appears to be a man-made virus that Fauci paid for with our money.
Oh,
that's almost as crazy as the morons that think COVID happened because somebody ate a bat without cooking it. In reality, Fauci
what the hell is wrong with these people?
You know
Every
what,
time
Randy?
they open their damn mouth,
we
something
can't get
stupid
into
falls
that
out.
question. If we get into that question, we're going to be here all night. And unfortunately, I have to work tonight.
This is
so
true.
That's not doable. In reality, Fauci does not single-handedly control America's public health policies and only makes recommendations that politicians can choose to implement or ignore. That's called an advisor, Miss Green. But you're probably too stupid to know what that is. I think that word has too many syllables for you. Do I need to translate it to Neanderthal? Additionally, there is no evidence that the novel coronavirus is man-made, nor is there any evidence that Fauci paid to create it. But of course, facts don't matter to her.
No.
Or anyone else who follows QAnon for that matter. Hashtag save our sanity.
Right.
Green's crazed rant drew a swift reaction from her Twitter followers. Let's check out some of the responses below. I'm scared. The old saying, mad as a box of frogs. He's the top infectious disease expert in the U.S. and the world, so I think I'm going to take his word over someone who believes in Jewish space lasers. That sounds like something I would have said. I might go follow that person. Bring this up in your committees. Oh, wait! Burn. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is something some whack job says to a cult in private, but now it's okay to say out loud because this whack job won't face any consequences. And if she did, she'd blame cancel culture. When the real truth is, bad people who spread lies deserve consequences. And that's another thing. It's not cancel culture, you fucking Republican cunt. It's called consequence culture if you think about it. I'm confident the proof you supposedly have about how Fauci knowingly starting the virus has been turned over to the FBI. Or maybe it's still being downloaded from your Jewish laser system. Oh my God. I don't even want to get into this one. I love that though. If Fauci is responsible, why is the rest of the world also dealing with the virus? Oh, because after all, America's the center of the world, right, Marjorie? Nah. Your theory doesn't make any sense. Well, we do that. As usual, she has no idea what she's talking about. Well, we all do that. Thank you, Captain Obvious. MTG and her unearned, overinflated sense of self-importance is the direct result of participation trophy. We're not even going to get into that debate. Got news for you. It won't pass. Well, we can hope.
And that's it.
Ooh, I want my shocking horoscope. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't. I don't believe in astrology.
What a big bag of stupid.
Randy, haven't we talked about your tendency to understate these things?
A little
Come
bit.
on now.
Yeah. That was an understatement.
Her every time she opens her mouth, I feel my IQ dropping. And I don't like that.
Sad part is these are people in big offices, elected officials and all kinds of things, and they are just dumber.
Is that a sad part or
bag
scary?
Of hammers.
Yeah, it's
scary. It's really scary.
It is. It's terrifying. I don't understand how. I think it's because I'm not stupid, contrary to Stool's beliefs, but I cannot comprehend or wrap my head around how people come up with these insane tinfoil hat diatribes of Babadook baboon bullshit.
It is absolutely terrifying because for me to think that there are other people, other human beings that are made of the same stuff as me that actually believe this horse crap.
Yes.
It's just utterly
it's amazing.
Fucking bizarre to me. And by the way,
it strengthens the case that I have been attempting to make since I was approximately, I think I've been saying this since I was about 14, and so about 13 years now, that criminalizing warning labels is the way to solve the problem here. Let the stupid people put their toasters in their bathtub. Please. We would solve a lot of problems that way.
I would vote for that.
All right, what do we got next?
We've got another Marjorie Taylor Greene story. I think we need sound.
I think I put that stock last night.
Yeah. We need the sound on for this one.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Not only did she open her mouth, the bitch had the nerve to go after AOC.
Oh.
Antifa BLM riots. And she's a chicken. She doesn't want to debate the I was going to say, I don't think the debate has been agreed to yet.
There was some audio of Marjorie Taylor Greene challenging AOC to a debate and calling her chicken. This
open borders as we could possibly have. Don't you think that's going to be even more of a pull factor?
I don't think this video has anything to do with the topic
No,
at hand.
no, that doesn't. That's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. Never. So Republican. Oh, you okay? No, you lead the story. Go on.
So, while I was bored out of my mind at my first night back at work, I came across this lovely piece of information. Josh, nobody wants to see you naked and my camera's off anyway. It's fine. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene apparently aggressively confronted AOC actually just yesterday. This just broke the same day that I put it in the Google Doc for us, Blake. Falsely accused her of supporting terrorists, and it ended up that AOC's office called on leadership to ensure that Congress remains a safe, civil place for all members and staff. Basically, she's trying to get more security to keep that wacko the fuck away from her. So, two Washington Post reporters witnessed Ocasio-Cortez exiting the House chamber late Wednesday afternoon ahead of Wacko McGee, who shouted, "Hey Alexandria," twice in an effort to get her attention. And when AOC didn't stop walking, because of course the only thing you can do with an idiot is ignore it, she picked up her pace and started shouting at her and asked why she supports Antifa, which, by the way, is an ideology, not a group of people, a loosely knit group of far-left activists. That's really not that accurate, but we won't get into that. And Black Lives Matter, falsely labeling them terrorist groups. Greene also shouted that AOC was failing to defend her radical socialist beliefs by declining to publicly debate the freshman from Georgia. Why would anyone want to, why would anyone want to publicly debate you, you dumb twat? You're a fucking narcissist if she thinks
now
people
they're
actually
calling the
want to
left
debate her.
the radicals.
You don't care about the American people, she shouted. Why do you support terrorists and Antifa? And obviously AOC being the adult here, and apparently Nancy Pelosi believes that this should be investigated. Good for her. So AOC didn't acknowledge her and only turned around once and threw her hands in the air in an exasperated motion, which is about all you can do once you're dealing with that level of stupidity. The two reporters were not close enough to hear what the New York Congresswoman said, and her office declined to discuss her specific response. Probably better that way. And this is why I should never hold public office. Representative Greene tried to begin an argument with Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, and Representative Ocasio-Cortez tried to walk away. Congresswoman Greene began screaming and called her a terrorist sympathizer, a spokeswoman said in a statement. We hope leadership in the Sergeant at Arms will take real steps to make Congress a safe, civil place for all members and staff, especially as many offices are discussing reopening. One member has already been forced to relocate her office due to Congresswoman Greene's attacks. Why is this bitch even allowed to have an office? That's what I'd like to know. Before walking away, Greene said that the encounter was intended to
somebody just beat her ass.
Well, now, you don't want to sound like a capital insurrectionist. Let's tone that down a little, Randy. We're grown up here, except Stool.
Randy did actually. Randy did actually make a good point there, which is not rocket science, because anybody with a brain knows how these people work. So yeah. Randy did radicals. Quote
yes, the air quotes was quite accurate. So,
yeah, and so they're now doing radical leftists and all that shit. It's all about selling fear porn to the base. It's propaganda 101. I mean, this is literally what Goebbels wrote. This is his playbook.
So, before walking away, Greene said that the encounter was intended to hold Democrats accountable for their policy proposals. Who the fuck is any Republican to talk about accountability with the way Trump got away with shit? Somebody, go ahead. Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Oh my God, this is just getting to the point of elementary school insults. She's a chicken. She doesn't want to debate the Green New Deal. She said to a small group of reporters and onlookers through the entrance to the chamber. These members are cowards. They need to defend their legislation to the people. That's pathetic. Stop talking about yourself that way, Marjorie. We know you're pathetic. You don't have to keep reminding us. So, she's been controversial since her 2020 campaign, and Democrats voted to strip her of her committee assignments earlier this year because of extremist statements. Finally, some consequences around here. Green has made a number of incendiary and false statements in recent years, among them that black people are held slaves to the Democratic Party, that Representatives Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, the first two Muslim women elected to Congress, represented an Islamic invasion into our government offices, and the Jewish mega donor George Soros collaborated with Nazis.
Yay, Soros! Yay!
Can we please, okay, so I never, ever support GoFundMes, especially, and I'm going to publicly say this, if anybody is continuing to associate me with the recent scandal with Sean Hufford and my piece of shit cousin, please do not. I don't support them. I normally never do the whole GoFundMe thing, but can we start a GoFundMe to pay for a lawyer to get Marjorie Taylor Greene professionally evaluated? Maybe a nice, in Pennsylvania we call it 302. I don't know what they call it in the UK. I don't know what they call it where you are either, Randy, but involuntary commitment. Can we start that process? She's fucking cuckoo bird.
Just gonna say, Soros bought my cigs tonight.
Damn it, Stool, you're killing me here. I had to quit smoking. You're killing me here.
Well, you're not doing the Soros correctly. You're doing it wrong.
You know what? I'm just gonna, one of these days, when COVID's over, I'm gonna get a passport. I'm gonna come over there. When you least expect it, I'm gonna show up where you are, and I'm gonna put my foot so far up your ass that you'll be licking my toes for months. Anyway, she has also expressed support for the radical ideology of QAnon, a sprawling set of false claims that have coalesced into an extremist ideology that has radicalized its followers, some of whom participated in the January 6th insurrection. Her behavior towards AOC on Wednesday was similar to her effort to confront young gun control activist David Hogg, who survived the 2018 mass shooting at a Parkland high school, as he walked around the Capitol grounds amid a lobbying push in 2019 for new gun laws. She shot cell phone video of the incident. You know, this lady's got the maturity of a... Actually, you know what? I can't even say anything. My 3-year-old child is more mature than this bitch, and she just threw a tantrum today because I wouldn't let her play with my pepper spray. So that says a lot. Green has also been an outspoken defender of former President Trump. Oh my God, that just put a bad taste in my mouth. And his false claims that the 2020 presidential election was stolen. Earlier Wednesday, House Republicans voted to remove Liz Cheney from her leadership position for repeatedly speaking out against Trump's falsehoods, saying she had become a distraction from the party's efforts to win back the House in 2022. That's bullshit. That's not why. Oh, that's a face I don't want to see on my... Get that nastiness off the screen. I don't want to see Chris Christie. Scroll further. Thank you. As a New Jersey native, Chris Christie. This is not the first confrontation Green has had with a Democratic member of Congress that has caused him to raise safety concerns. Early this year, Representative Cori Bush accused Green and her staff of accosting her in a tunnel beneath a House office building after she asked her to wear a mask out of concern for the health of my staff, other members of Congress, and their congressional staff. Obviously, the stupid bitch denied the allegation and accused her of lying and of leading a terrorist mob because Cori Bush supports Black Lives Matter. Jesus Christ, the racism is strong with this one, isn't it? So the incident prompted Bush to ask Democratic leadership if she could move her office away from Green at a time when the Georgia Congresswoman was already under heavy scrutiny for her rhetoric and behavior. You know, there's another solution here. Anybody know what it is? Anyone want to take a guess? Anybody in the chat? Anybody here on the panel? Anyone? There's other things we can
Kick
do.
her ass.
Besides that, the legal option here, we can
Kick
recall
her
her
tits.
ass. So in February, she also got into a confrontation with the office of a neighboring congresswoman over trans rights. Oh, this is going to boil my blood, and that's the last thing I need with my heart overworking itself like it is. After Representative Marie Newman hung a trans pride flag outside her office in honor of her trans daughter to push back against Green's opposition to legislation that would extend civil rights protections to the LGBT community, Green hung up a poster across the hall that read, "There are two genders, male and female. Trust the science." The science doesn't say there's only two genders. Stupid. Have we never heard, even so, have we never heard of chromosomal abnormalities? It's not as simple as XX and XY. Let's get that through everybody's heads. But we put up ours so she can look at it every time she opens her door. She says, this is just petty and childish. This is juvenile. Representative Sean Casten called Green's poster sickening, pathetic, and unimaginably cruel. I mean, this is like high school. My God. Green has been a headache for Republican leaders at times, but they have not taken any punitive steps in response to her actions, and they decried Democrats voting to take away her committee assignments. That's, so much talk about holding anybody accountable, and they're not holding her accountable. House Minority Leader...
This article has done?
Besides
It has taken away my desire to masturbate.
Congratulations, Randy. We didn't need to know that. I'm glad to know. Well, you know what? At least, it does make me happy to know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a boner killer.
Yeah.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy spoke to Greene before she was removed from her committees, and after Republicans started to complain about her attempts to delay routine floor actions, but neither those nor other conversations resulted in punishment. Imagine that. Past comments from and endorsed by Marjorie Taylor Greene on school shootings, political violence, and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories do not represent the values or beliefs of the House Republican Conference, she said in a statement released during the debate over her committee assignments. I made this clear to Marjorie when we met. I also made clear that as a member of Congress, we have a responsibility to hold ourselves to a higher standard than how she presented herself as a private citizen. Her past comments now have much greater meaning. Marjorie recognized this in our conversation. No, she didn't. I hold her to her word, as well as her actions going forward. There's a word for all of that. Sewell, you want to say it? Bullshit. It's bullshit. On Thursday morning...
Private citizen, eh? Like private citizens don't get arrested for that shit.
Yeah. On Thursday morning, that's today, Representative Adam Kinzinger criticized Green's behavior. While I may not agree with AOC on issues, I've never seen her confront a colleague like this, he wrote on Twitter. These Republicans in Twitter, my God. The House was created to debate emotional issues professionally, and it seems some just want attention or cannot handle their emotions. Green responded by, oh my God, she went against the Republicans, mocking the veteran of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Since you're short on understanding, let me just get my best. Okay. Since you're short on understanding, little Adam, I asked AOC to debate me. She wrote on Twitter. Oh my God, this is just killing my brain cells. In the chamber.
Did she have help spelling debate?
I think she probably had help writing this entire thing. In the chamber, the debate had destructive socialist policies. But Sandy doesn't know how to work with Republicans. Neither do you. First of all, Mr. Kinzinger, is that an R next to his name? What the fuck? dude, she's alienating everybody, and she doesn't even realize it. It's kind of funny watching her implode. Well, it would be if it wasn't the fact that she holds public office. Green also mocked Ocasio-Cortez for raising safety concerns regarding Wednesday's incident. AOC missed to fund the police, wants to call the police for security because she's afraid of debating with me about her socialist GND. She wrote, AOC is a fraud and a hypocrite. That's fine, Sandy. Since you lack the courage and intelligence to debate me, I'll debate the person who really wrote it. Really? Really? I feel like I'm reading middle school social media fights here.
Yeah.
She continued to accuse AOC, Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib of being terrorist sympathizers, calling them the hashtag jihad squad. Really? Are you serious?
Oh, I lost stool.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
He's gone.
Oh shit.
I'm sure he'll be back anyway.
Oh yeah. What the fuck? Jihad squad.
Yeah, that's way over the line. Plus, defunding the police, I don't think is get rid of all the police.
No, defunding the police just means municipal cops don't need tanks. To put it in simple terms.
Yeah, but the narrative is going to be different, so people get what the hell they want anyways, and they can still have tanks.
Oh my god. This just really says asking earlier this year to debate Ocasio-Cortez. Green has confronted her one other time on the House floor when she approached the New York Congresswoman last month to try to schedule a date for a debate over the Green New Deal, a set of environmental policies intended to combat climate change. In a video posted to social media a day later, Green criticized Ocasio-Cortez for not debating her. All right, are we ready for the real juvenile? Okay. If she chickens out, then she shows who she really is. A scared little girl that is pretty stupid and doesn't know anything about the economy or economics. I think you're talking about yourself there, Marjorie. Just putting that out there.
Totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant to the previous sentence.
Yeah.
Oh. This is...
Yeah, it's fourth grade bullshit.
Not even fourth grade. I'm telling you, my 3-year-old is more capable of a civilized discussion than this. There's more logic in my 3-year-old crying because I wouldn't let her play with my mace than what's coming out of Marjorie Taylor Greene's mouth. Oh my god, do I hear my boyfriend ordering food?
Anyway, we got. I think we're just going to do one more story.
Oh my god.
Okay. And finally story.
Yes.
And let's just.
Okay. So this is the story that Josh has been waiting for if he's in my living room eavesdropping. In fact, I think I'll step into the other room if he's off so he can hear this. Josh requested, even though he has no power here whatsoever, that we include this story as our and finally some fluff piece. A Salford resident helps ducklings escape the ninth floor balcony. So this is our piece about ducks. So just for Josh. The 11 ducklings of Miss Mallard, who nested on the 9th floor of a Salford, I don't know what the hell that says, balcony, have finally hatched. Oh, it is. Okay. They finally hatched. Oh, my God. Hey, Josh, look at the duckies. He's just snatching my phone, don't we? So, So mom and brood are now nesting in the high winds before the flat owner lowers them to the ground in a bucket. They nested 4 weeks ago, and her exploits have attracted the attention of more than 40,000. The text is very weird. People on Twitter. So this is just so sweet, little duckies on a balcony. I mean, I'd like to know what possessed the mother duck to nest that high, but I'll just leave that alone. So Steve of Imperial Point said, yeah, sure. Said, when I went to look in one of my planters, there was a single egg. Then 7 days later, there were 7 eggs, and she started sitting properly 22 hours a day. The first lockdown.
Mallards were ground nesters.
So, the first lockdown last year was absolutely dreadful for everybody, but it wasn't for me because I was in my element. I was with the lovely mallard hen every day, so I was very happy with that. I would be too. You know why I'd be happy? Because Josh would be occupied and not bothering me all the time. Oh, ducky egg!
The story just quacks me up.
That was terrible. Get the hell off this panel. This is the second year the mallard duck has chosen to nest on this balcony. So she feels really safe there. That's very sweet. I like that. Steve said as a 90-year member of the Royal Society of Protection of Birds, he knew last year to leave the mother alone. It was when the 7 eggs hatched, he knew he needed to help the hen, who he has nicknamed Miss Mallard. What a lovely name. The balcony may be overlooking the water, but the drop from the 9th floor is almost 250 feet, a height the ducklings would not survive. Oh my God, it even had a hashtag. Steve combined his knowledge of birds with a trick he'd learned in the first 36 years of naval training to lower the ducklings down with a rope in a bucket to the water. As long as the hen can hear their cries and the ducklings can hear her, that's a very strong maternal bond. Then everything will be fine. If you break that bond, if I said, right, I'm going to take them down in the lift, there is a danger. If she can't hear them, she'll just fly off. So it was very important that I lower them down like I did.
Just happen to have 250 feet of rope, eh?
Hey, you know what? There's nothing. You know what? There's a lot of uses for 250 feet of rope. We're not going to talk about them here because I don't want Mike to get thrown off. Or we don't want Josh to get ideas. Actually, you know what? Yes, I do want you to get ideas, you virginal prude. Anyway, actually, you know what? No, never mind. Never mind. So, let's see here. So
well, it's been fun. I gotta go.
On the ground. Oh, you're heading out? Once the bucket was safely on the ground, Steve ran down and kicked the bucket of ducklings over. They shot out and ran straight to their mother. 1 year later, Steve is planning to repeat the whole process again as Miss Mallard has nested for a second time on his balcony. That is so sweet. Being so dedicated to helping the little duckies. Being a bird watcher, I knew that ducks have a habit if they have a successful site. Successful site meaning that they raise babies from eggs and leave. They judge that as a safe site, and there's a possibility that they come back. However, this time he has the whole world cheering Operation Mallard on after a tweet from his daughter. The bucket began to swing And there was a couple of times I thought the bucket would hit the building, but it didn't, thankfully, Steve said, hoping that this time goes more smoothly. He is planning on using 2 ropes to stabilize the bucket so that it can be lowered safely. As of May 4th, the 11 eggs have hatched, and Mother Mallard is doing well, but is remaining in the nest due to the windy weather. An update at 16:30 of May 4th, 7 hours on from the first sign of hatching, Steve was able to safely lower the ducklings from his balcony and reunite them with Miss Mallard. That's the kind of happiness we need in the world. Like, just going out of his way to help the duckies. We need more of that in the world. So that's our show for tonight. And I have to say, we had quite a bit more of an active audience than usual. I hope that pattern continues, because that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was.
Except for the part where Stool and Will derailed everything. But you know what? I'm going to accept responsibility for that, because Will coming in with my idea, and Josh says Stool is a bitch. So, you know, that was my idea. I'm going to accept full responsibility. Like, oh, Will should come in here. Let's just let them go at each other. That was a bad idea. I'm sorry about that. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut the next time I think someone should come in here and start with Stool. I'm just gonna not.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been the longest on the sofa we've done ever.
Well, that's a blessing and a curse. A blessing because, you know what, we had quite a bit more engagement than we normally do, and a curse because I need to sleep for work tonight.
And if you've made it this far in the broadcast, then if you haven't already, then do subscribe and hit the bell icon and
tell your friends how awesome we are.
Yeah. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and like and share, and consider becoming a patron, because there are some perks to becoming a patron as well.
And even if you don't become a patron, Mike wrote a book. Buy it. Read it.
Yeah, Surviving 2020 it's called. And or you could support me by buying me a coffee, and all the relevant links are in the description. And there's a link to Sci Niece's Twitter there as well, so you can.
Yeah, that's usually where you'll find me. Twitter with the snark and the nonsense and the, as of last night, I will also be found at work, but nowhere near as regular basis, because I am now medically restricted from working any more than 40 hours a week. So I will finally start having Thursdays off, probably starting next week. And then it won't matter how long we ramble on, now will it?
Yeah, exactly. But on that bombshell, I will say good night. And see you next time. Bye for now.